Welcome to Monday's Miracle Moment. I'm Reverend Diane Lund, and this week's inspirational quote, I'm going to share it with you. Here it is. Says, "The mind is very powerful and never loses its creative force. It never sleeps. Every instant it is creating. The mind is very powerful and never loses its creative force. It never sleeps. Every instant it is creating." So, where does creation happen? The Course says that all creation starts in the mind. So often, when we're down here in the physical, we think if we just change our behavior, we will change. And we've all had the um, opportunity to go on a diet, change our behaviors. Perhaps we even lost weight because changing some behaviors does change things. But if we haven't changed our mind about food and eating and what we like to eat and when, we probably just go back to our old ways. So we need to do more than just change our behavior. The Course says you need to go to the source of where you create. It says all thought creates at some level, and the mind is never asleep. It's always creating, it's always thinking, and thinking gets projected out into the physical world and becomes form, or it becomes behavior. Your thoughts motivate your behavior, and your behavior creates your reality for you. So if we want a better life, if we don't want to come from fearful places, if we catch ourselves thinking negative, just know negative thinking comes from fear. And if we're thinking from fear, we must not be thinking from love. And so the Course asks us to change our mind. And we alone have that power. We have the power to change our mind, but it takes training. The Course is about training your mind to think from love. And so this week, when you catch yourself having a negative thought or a thought that, isn't making you happy, you can think, okay, coming from fear at its base, I need to just acknowledge that and think, how could I reword that in my mind? How could I think differently about this situation? How might I bring compassion and love so that what I'm seeing isn't affecting me in a negative way? So it takes practice, but that's what we have the journal for. And the cards always help. In my study groups at the end of the meeting, we always pulled a card, and it was just uncanny how often that card, that quote spoke directly to what we had been talking about. So go to DianeLundMiracles.com, order a card deck, and when you have a question, pull a card and meditate on the card. It's uncanny. In my life, I've seen how it can answer your questions or at least direct your focus and your thinking onto something else. So there's 8 decks to choose from, the Rainbow Series. Go to DianeLundMiracles.com/shop if you want to get your own cards. So thanks for joining me. If you have a comment about this week, please leave it below. I love to hear from you. Have a blessed week.